Welcome to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 185. Tonight we have a head-to-head matchup between two of my favorite North Texas bourbons. We have Ironroot Harbinger XC. This is a straight bourbon, 90 proof. And we have TX bourbon, straight bourbon, 90 proof. This competition is blind, and my goals are to see if I can figure out which is which, and can I figure out if I have a favorite. I have chosen two Texas bourbons that have a strong dose of the Texas funk. The Texas funk is a taste profile that's the result of the extreme climate we have here in Texas, what it does to the whiskey in the barrel during the aging process. The heat presses the whiskey into the barrels and the cold pulls it out. We have 6 months of summer here in North Texas, but in the months of October to April, we can have fluctuations of 40 degrees in a day. I've seen 90-degree days on Christmas, wildfires in February, and snow on Easter. The result is the whiskey gets a dusty, smoky, woody char flavor that you either love or hate. I love it. And so there's different ways that distillers can impact that Texas funk. Okay, if they have it in a warehouse where they've got climate control, they can tamp down on the effects of the climate. And so if you climate control your warehouse, then you don't have the extremes. And that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is some distilleries will source their bourbons from other states and then finish aging it here. But these two whiskeys tonight are excellent examples of the impact of the Texas terroir on the whiskey. What is terroir? It's a French word that's the combination of a region's climate, soil, water, types of grain used, and even the farming practices of the local farmers. All of this has an effect on the whiskey. So if you think about Scotch in Scotland, on the seashore, the mild climate, mild to cool, damp climate all year round, the types of water that they have there, the type of grain they have, that affects how you get Scotch. If you think about Kentucky bourbons, their limestone water, their grains, their climate, where they have 4 distinct seasons a year, that affects how their product tastes. Whiskeys in Texas have the same effect. Now, my original review of TX Straight Bourbon 90 proof on StabtheDragon was actually my very first review back in September of 2021. My score was an 85. It would probably be around 88 to 89 today if I did it again. My letter grade back then was an A-. Now this is a straight bourbon, meaning it's been aged for at least 2 years. The all-Texas mash bill consists of corn, wheat, barley with pecan yeast. TX bourbon, the people at Firestone and Robertson, they emphasize the pecan yeast. They went out and searched over 100 different yeasts, and they have yeast hunters, I guess, who go out there with shotguns and shoot down yeasts. I don't know. But they found this pecan yeast, and it was perfect for them. To me, maybe it's psychological. I get a little bit of a pecan note with their whiskeys. So that's the mash bill with TX. Now, I reviewed Ironroot Harbinger XC90. It's aged for 32 months. I reviewed them back in August of 2022. Gave it a score of 90 with a letter grade of A. So I rated it a little bit above the TX bourbons. But that was a year into my bourbon reviews, whiskey reviews, and so maybe I changed a little bit there. Their mash bill for Ironroot is purple corn, bloody butcher corn, flint corn, non-GMO yellow dent corn, and rye, mostly from the North Texas area. It can be had at Total Wine in a variety of 4 different Harbingers, ranging from $42.99 to $74.99. and proofs all the way up to 115, I think. But guess what? This variety, the 90 proof XC, I'm not seeing available anymore. Specs didn't have it. Total Wine didn't have it. Goody Goody carries a variety of Ironroot, but not this. The distillery didn't even list this anymore. So I'm wondering, is this now a ghost whiskey? The TX bourbon is still available at all the stores. Well, it was not listed at Goody Goody. They had other TXs, but not this one. So Total Wine had it for $39.69, Specs for $37.86. Goody Goody had a couple of other versions, but not this one. So those are the two contestants. We are here in National Bourbon Heritage Month with this competition. So here we go. I've got blacked out Glencairns, so there's not going to be much of a visual in the glasses because I figured out that I can cheat when I do that. So I'll hold up the two whiskeys and see if we can figure out which is darker. It looks like the Ironroot is just a shade darker. That's what I'm figuring out. So there you go. Ironroot may be darker. All right. I'm going to start on my left. Nosing. And I can smell it, and that's unusual. My nose is terrible, and I usually can't smell bourbons, but this I could smell. And it's just a little bit of the Texas funk with a little bit of sweet corn. But I was able to smell it just a little bit. One on my right. Nothing. Nothing. So the one on the left had enough of a nose for me to smell something, but my nose is just almost useless. All right, so we'll start, since the one on the right was weaker, I'm going to start on the one on the right. Right away, I get the Texas funk from the first sip, and then it kind of transitions to some sweetness, getting some cinnamon candy on the finish. Finish is moderate. It's not real strong. That is delightful. Definitely. If I had to guess right now, I'm going to say the one on my right that I first tasted. I think that's the TX. Just first taste. It's always dangerous until you taste the second one. Finish on that was improving after the second sip. An appropriate mouthfeel. Not thin, kind of medium, not real rich. Very mild burn, not much of a burn going on there. So that was a mild sipper, but nice flavors with the corn and the dusty note from the Texas funk. All right, we'll go to the one on the left. And I'm going to say I think that's going to be the Ironroot. So that's I should have a number 1 on the bottom. It's got a little bit more heavier dose of the Texas Funk, and the flavor profile is just a little bit stronger throughout. Doesn't have quite the cinnamon candy thing on the finish that the other one had. But the finish is longer. The Texas Funk is there throughout. It's got an appropriate mouth burn. Yeah, that one's got stronger flavors throughout. I'm going to say that's the Ironroot. But what flavors am I picking up there besides the Texas Funk? I think there's some fruit in here, but it's not giving me the cinnamon candy that the other one is. Which one do I like the most? Now, there's just a hint of bitterness on the finish, but that it's not out of place. There's some bitterness that's a good thing. Which of these is my favorite? And I've got a cat coming up here. Come here. Come up here. Come here. Come up here. There you go. There you go. All right. Felix is going to help me decide the winner here. Yeah, that's definitely got to be number 1, Ironroot. I'm going to say that I'm liking this one over here on my right the best. I think that's number 2, and I'm thinking it's TX. I am correct. That is number 2, the TX. This is number 1, the Ironroot. And tonight, TX is the winner. For whatever reason, I just finished supper, and I tried to kind of clean my palate out a little bit. But I'm thinking something I had for supper may be interfering here. But your palate changes. So once upon a time, I preferred Ironroot. Tonight, I'm preferring TX. Now, if I did this on another night, after eating a different meal, that could be reversed. That's how close this is. But I will tell you also that TX is much more available and for a cheaper cost. The Ironroot XC 90 proof may be a ghost whiskey. So there you go. The winner right here. Tonight's winner. TX straight bourbon 90 proof. All right, well, I may be able to squeeze one more episode for National Bourbon Heritage Month before the month is gone. So maybe sometime Saturday through Monday, I'll be able to get that one in. And I'm not sure what I'll do there. I think maybe 2 more Texas bourbons will be called for, because Texas bourbons tend to be my favorite. I just got to say that. Well, this is Stab the Dragon, out here.